It shipped.
It shipped just in time to enjoy day 4.
I'll be founding it on November 21st.
Like you were the boat that no one hears about that landed in Massachusetts in 1684 or whatever, and was like, "What do you mean there are other people here?" Yeah, sorry. I will call this place Plymouth. Nope, already done.
Things that aren't done, though, are our sponsorship by Smart Deploy today. Smart Deploy allows IT departments to re-image unlimited computer models from one golden image. Search their library for your models and grab your exclusive free licenses at smartdeploy.com/therot. Conveniently, Google shipped it FedEx ground, which means it'll show up at about 7:59 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
So not only will I be late to the party will already be winding down.
Right. Yeah, there'll be no one left.
The hors d'oeuvres will have been consumed.
So what's your plan for the screen? Are you going to do the Chromecast thing, or?
I don't even know. Like, at this point, we're going to be paying $130 to play Destiny 2 for about an hour, and then putting it in a box and never touching it again.
Right.
I don't know. What I'm gonna try to do is I think I'm gonna hook it up to this. Well, maybe not this one. Maybe like a Surface Pro or something. And then I'm gonna try to record some footage like I did with xCloud of like me playing it, and then putting it side by side of xCloud, like split screen. That way you can kind of see. Now the challenge here is that Destiny and Halo are slightly different games, but I think the mechanics are similar enough that I can just play online.
My understanding is that the best performance is on Chromecast.
Really?
Yeah. And that the PC performance in particular is pretty bad. In fact, you're limited to 1080p on PC.
That makes a lot of
sense. I know. I'm sure this will change.
It's got to be something with the browser, I bet, in that.
Yeah.
Maybe on the Chromecast. I don't know.
Well, no, by the way, it almost certainly is the browser. I haven't looked at this in a while, but if you bought content from like Google Play, whatever it's called, movies and TV, and played it through a browser on your PC, I believe the last time I checked, this is a while ago, but it was also limited to 1080p. And I bet those things are related. I bet it is a Chromecast, Chrome, whatever thing.
Well, this will be, I don't know, ping me tomorrow at about 8:15 p.m. and see if I've figured it out.
I will.
Yeah. So we'll see. Teams, by the way, added 7 million users in about 4 months, which sounds impressive. And I guess it is. But you also got to remember that they're, old yellering Skype for Business. So you kind of got to.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Microsoft, I mean, this is like the old Apple argument, So, it's not fair to compare PCs to Macs because Apple is the only company that makes Macs and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, yeah, but that was their choice. I mean, they went to market the way they went to market. I mean, whatever. So Microsoft's big advantage with Teams is that it's part of Office 365. And there are, hundreds of millions of Microsoft 365 and Office 365 customers. So, yeah, but they are measuring daily active users, and they have some kind of a metric, an explanation for what that means. It may differ slightly from what Slack thinks is a daily active user or whatever. But, what did you think was going to happen when you walked up to the sleeping bear and kicked it in the face? I mean, selfie time.
Selfie time. Hey, boo-boo. Let's go get us a pic in it.
Did you see the Slack response to this?
No, I didn't. What did they say?
What they're basically saying is like, look, we actually have 12 million active users, and our users are far more engaged than Microsoft. They did a little bit of math. Like Microsoft provided some numbers based around, it was daily active users and then monthly, I don't know if it was chats or content edited or created, whatever. And they were like, if you look at those numbers that Microsoft provided, those users are not particularly engaged. And engaged is a word I've used a lot in the past because it speaks to kind of it's almost like a softer number. Like you can say there are the market share or usage share is some number or some percent or whatever, and it's kind of a hard number, but that doesn't always reflect the relative success of the product or service, right? So, for example, like Windows Phone users at one time were X number of million, but because there weren't a lot of apps in the store or whatever, they weren't necessarily as engaged as people on Android or iOS, because those guys, I mean, we know the statistics. It's crazy, like how many apps they download, and so engagement is important. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft's never really fudged numbers before with Cortana usage or other things, so I'm
Edge, you
sure it's
remember the 330 million people on Edge, like a statistical impossibility. like, like, yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm sure the numbers come from somewhere, and it's not an orifice. But who knows? Yeah.
all right. Here's another number that came out. Oh, I did it again.
Oh, damn you!
Adobe. I don't even like Adobe. I don't even like you.
Adobe Acrobat Reader cannot open something in
mode. I don't want you to open app container in protected mode.
in protected mode due to an incompatibility, maybe. It's like an eye test.
Yeah, what it's really telling me is two things. One, I need to figure out what that problem is and just fix it, or just turn this computer on like 5 minutes earlier than usual for the podcast, and that prompt will show up.
You can just leave it on. I mean,
yeah. Well, conveniently, it usually is on because I can't actually figure out how to keep it turned off. I think it's something to do with the network drive settings that I have. But anyways, here's another number for you, Paul. This one comes to us, I think, from Stratechery, however you pronounce that website.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Apple sold $99 billion worth of laptops with a faulty keyboard.
99 billion. So this is based on their sales figures
of MacBook Pro,
average cost, etc.
Over whatever the 4 years.
I mean, well, they're really contributing to the economy. I was just thinking about this. It's funny. Okay, so I didn't see the story. That's interesting because what was this going through? Every morning, just so people know, I go and I look at the site and I see what's going on in the forums and comments and everything. We have in WordPress a way to access, forum threads and comments and so forth. Lately, for whatever reason, I've seen a rise in the amount of spam that we're getting through comments. And so one of the things I've been doing each morning is literally going to the comments page, which I normally wouldn't do that way, but it just shows the comments in chronological order. And basically what I'm looking for is URLs, because the spammer is always going to try to send you to some stupid URL. And every day, like this morning, I probably found, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them, three, let's say. So, okay, whatever. But what I've also seen in there is this kind of like this weird, I normally wouldn't even see this, I guess, but people are like, it's like I complained about Google Stadia yesterday. And the reason I did that apparently was because I'm a Microsoft fanboy, or a shill, I think was the term. And I hate everything Google, despite the fact that I write about Chromebooks every week. And I've been using Pixel and Nexus phones for whatever. Anyway, it's insane is what it is. And so I was sort of thinking about this whole, it's kind of an old mentality, the us versus them platform war thing. Like, I'm a Nintendo guy, so I hate Sega, or, whatever, and, that stuff. And I don't really like that, but I literally just thought about Apple this morning, and I was thinking to myself, there was a story about Apple is apparently finally going to bring the modern media apps, right, that it has on the Mac and on iOS to Windows sometime maybe next year or something. Cool. Belatedly, it's typical Apple. They always screw over Windows users, even though they're shared customers, even though the vast majority, and I mean literally vast majority of people who do use iOS or Apple Watch or whatever also use a Windows PC and not a Mac, right? 1.5 billion Windows PCs versus 100 million Macs. The math is simple. There are 900 million iPhones in the world. Most of them are not using Macs. It's a simple math.
Yep.
It's weird to me that Apple screws over people like that. Like, they've always done that. But the Apple keyboard thing, to bring this full circle, is a weird example of how they've even screwed over their best customers, right? The people who have gone all in on Mac or on Apple have purchased expensive Macs, the most expensive Macs really, have had unusable keyboards for 4 or 5 years now. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. And there's such a, in some ways they're a great company, obviously, but in some ways they're such a terrible company that they make these decisions, these unilateral, no one asked for it, nobody needed it, but we're making this change. And then when it's proven that this thing doesn't work, they refuse to acknowledge it. 4 years went by. We're fixing it. We're fixing it. Well, they never said that because it was never broken. It was perfect.
Right.
So anyway, I guess the point of all this is me stating that doesn't mean that I hate Apple. I mean, I'm looking out for people like us, just people. I'm looking out, the people who use the products. How do you do that as a company? Yep. Apple. They think they're the most user-centric company on earth somehow. I don't get it.
No, they are not.
They're not. I am, of course, a Microsoft. I wish I was paid, but some kind of a Microsoft shill, because I pointed that out. I don't know.
One minor correction on the 99 billion figure. That was for all Macs, but the majority of which were probably laptops.
The majority are laptops.
Yeah.
They've said that, for many years. The question is the percentage. I bet these days it's pretty damn close to 90% of them.
Yeah, it's got to be in that
It's got to be
upper bound area. So
yeah, until 10 minutes ago, they only sold laptops with broken keyboards.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
You can still go buy one too if you want.
Yeah, I own one. I'm really happy about it. It's great.
I wonder if there's going to be like a class action lawsuit from this.
I believe there already are.
Yeah.
In fact, I think there were more than one, and they've been, I think, if I remember correctly, I think some of them were consolidated into a single suit. Yeah.
Yeah. Because by that, obviously they can't admit it because then there is no lawsuit. It's just fact, and they owe people money back.
Right.
But the fact
I wish they could swap out the keyboards, right?
Yeah, but
I'm guessing
there's no way.
Yeah, the Air, especially in the MacBook, the little one, they're probably too thin or something.
Yeah, the keys would just be hitting on the screen.
Yep, it's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad for all the people that bought those. Just think you could have bought a Surface Pro and had a hot bag. So
I don't know. The new ones don't hot bag that much. I don't know. I didn't experience that with the Surface Pro 7 for sure. I did recently experience that once again with a Surface Book. Although, in its defense, I have abused the thing and upgraded it and upgraded it and upgraded. It's maybe that's not its defense. I don't know. It's unusual, but
you're unusual.
They're not perfect.
I should have held off on my jab at you until you said it's not perfect, because that would have been a better one.
You could have just kept going. It's fine.
Just
retort to everything I say.
Well, when you started off earlier saying, hey, the thing I do in the morning is I wake up and check the comments, I was thinking, man, I start my day by looking in the mirror and crying. But, that's probably a little healthier.
Yeah, no, I try to keep it dark for the first couple of hours,
Wake up, look in the mirror, and it's like, it's still me.
Jeez.
It's like, whoa, hey.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What else is going on? Facebook adopted Visual Code, kind of.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, maybe. I guess if you like Facebook or something.
Yeah, if you like Visual Studio Code, you like to see companies. Google uses it extensively. It's a great product.
Yeah, it is. That it is. You got anything else for today, Paul?
No, I apparently now I'm told this happened in 1903 and I just wasn't aware of it, which blows my mind because I install Windows like a million times a year, but I just documented the changes that I thought were new to 1909. But if you're setting up Windows 10 from scratch, like you either got a new computer, you reset it, whatever, that part of the interactive setup that you get, the UBI or whatever, out of box experience, has changed pretty dramatically, especially if you're using Windows 10 Home. Meaning that if you connect to a network, you can no longer choose to create a local account at first setup. The weird thing about that, by the way, I actually didn't even put this in the article. So here's a little bonus feature for you guys. If you connect to a network and then you go to the thing where it says sign in and you're like, oh crap, I didn't want to do that. And then you like reboot the computer, it remembers the network connection. You can't get rid of it. Yeah. So there's a command line way to do that. And then there are workarounds. You can do things like incorrectly enter like a phone number 5 or 6 times and it will just default to the offline setup. Or you can just sign in with a Microsoft account, create a local account, and then blow away the Microsoft account. You could always do that, of course. But it's kind of sucks because in 1903, I guess it was, they made it easier for Windows 10 Home users to delay updates, which I thought was great. but now they've taken this away. So it's like they can't stop putting the screws to Windows 10 home users. It's too bad.
So I turned this thing on after, I think it's been a week, something like that.
Oh yeah, right.
89% battery.
Yeah, just sitting there doing nothing.
Just
so
sit. Yeah, so
yeah,
worked. I mean, it didn't.
That's good.
Yeah. Now there's a Surface Laptop 3 15-inch over here that I haven't touched in probably about 10 days. I need to update it. I'll be curious to see when I turn that thing on.
I've had good luck with that. Actually, I just did that with it might have been Surface Laptop 2 that had been sitting in a drawer for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually had, I don't remember the number, but a significant portion of its battery life. Somehow it was just, so that's pretty good. And for whatever it's worth, I was just dumping on Apple because, again, I'm a Microsoft shill.
Yep. Confirmed.
The MacBook Airs, in my experience, have been very good at that as well. And I had a MacBook Air that had been sitting here for a while. Plugged it in, turned it on, and it was like 80%. It was still pretty good, So it can happen. It's not impossible.
It is. Well, not impossible.
Anyway,
so.
89 is good. That's good.
Yeah. All right, folks, so that wraps it up for today. Make sure to check out those Smart Deploy links down below. Grab your exclusive offer at smartdeploy.com/theroute, and we'll catch all of you right back here tomorrow.